Welcome to Patch Dispatch. I'm Corey Luna. With me is Rich Hogben. How you doing, Rich?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. So today on Patch Dispatch, we are going to talk a little bit about upcoming things with Piqued and a couple albums, some interesting gear, and what is going to happen in the future with this new modular setup. Very curious. So starting off with Piqued, we've got a new episode of North Beats podcast that I got to record with Shipwreck Detective. Please take a listen to it. Fantastic conversation with him. This guy is already we're already on the level of we're ready to jam, hang out with each other. Gonna go to a show together probably later this month. And listen to his interview on North Beats podcast before March 19th, when we release episode 3 of Monologs with also Shipwreck Detective. Rich and I went out to his place. We got to go to some other locations. We had a wonderful time shooting with him, and I think we all connected so well with each other, even more as we got to get more in depth with who he is and how much we all have in common. It was so much fun. And this guy's really deep. There's volumes of what this guy is doing with his synthesizers, his ideas, his philosophies. We get into some science fiction lore. We had a really good time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shipwreck Detective is a really interesting guy to talk to. And I always have a fun time talking to him. And he's one of those guys, just has a lot of energy. He's ready to jam at all times. I think he's just ready to play. And it's really exciting about that. And I can't wait to see him live. I have never seen him live, and I know that he's going to be playing some shows coming up pretty soon with his band Grimoires, which is, I believe, a metal band.
Yeah.
But he does...
he also just posted on Instagram a Shipwreck show.
Now that's exciting.
Yeah.
And he was telling us he hasn't played a Shipwreck show in over a year.
Yeah.
So this is going to be...
Like you said, he hadn't really been even posting too much, so... I remember he posted, I think it was a profile photo or something. And the comments were like, a wild shipwreck appears. So I think people are really excited to see him poking around on Instagram again. Yeah. And check out he posted that show.
And then also coming out later this month in March, we are going to have an extended audio commentary cut from Stevie Synth's monologue episode, where Rich and I will go through a couple of scenes, talk about shooting with Stevie, and pick apart a little bit about how we shot and created that second video of Monologs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sheena and we'll be doing that soon.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a while since we've done Patch Dispatch. If you thought we were gone, we're back. But yeah, since that time, we released Monologs episode 2. We haven't really talked about it a lot, but it's been making the rounds. We got, I think it's up to like 3,400 views or something. It's pretty crazy.
I was surprised when Stevie's Monologues episode surpassed views of Musical Fungus.
Yeah.
And in a short amount of time, maybe like 2 or 3 days, it surpassed and hit over 3,000 views, which I was really surprised about and really happy to see. Also, I noticed that some other people got to watch Musical Fungus, so his video on Monologues got a few more hits as well, which I'm really happy to see, because that guy is another genius and understands so much about synthesizers throughout any aspect, any format. He knows about it, especially if it has anything to do with analog or digital modulars.
Yeah, it's good to see them both getting plays. Even now, they're still like trickling in, like a couple hundred every 48 hours or something, which for us is a big deal because for the most part, our YouTube channel was kind of dead It's really been just an archive of our past live shows. We hadn't really put much effort into making it a little more accessible to people that kind of hadn't been to any of those shows. Just more like, oh, let's upload them here so that they're saved, and that's it. But we're kind of hoping that with putting up fresh content like the monologues and stuff, and Patch Dispatch, it'll kind of help bring in views to everything else we've had. And Corey, you've seen some of the updates I've done to some of the old content. So I've been like updating thumbnails and titles to make them a little more descriptive or interesting. Hopefully not too cheesy. Just to, let people know that there's other stuff up there you can go and check out. There's also, I put chapters in it. So if you want to just see the performance, you can click on a video. Usually there should be a chapter marker to go straight to the performance, so you don't have to see us blabbing the whole time. But yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Your choice of titles have been interesting because they're really trying to hook the audience into understanding what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's been entertaining to see.
It's cool because some of them, what's interesting to me is that there were shows up there that I kind of forgot about. I forgot what happened during the show. You know what I mean? And now when I see the thumbnail with even the title, even if it's a little cheesy or not clickbaity, but a little bit, to me, it immediately, I remember that. That's what happened during this show. Versus before where we had just, the graphic thumbnail and it just said the episode number. I don't remember what happened during the show, all of them. You know what I mean? And there was some really interesting stuff. So it's been fun to kind of go back and like revisit some of them and see, I think earlier today I did one for Actius, and I forgot that he had a member of the audience come up and write lyrics. Do you remember that part?
They did. That was it is a wonderful impromptu moment,
right?
Where formerly Actius, they brought an audience member up who got to participate and be part of the show impromptu, and it added to their set.
Right.
They created a piece out of that, and it was spontaneous and really unique to that one show.
Right. So that, that's what I've been trying to pull out is, finding those like interesting moments and then putting it in the title or the thumbnail or whatever. Anyways, that's the YouTube channel. Yeah.
So check out Piqued. Stay tuned with us. Go over to Piqued.fm. Subscribe to us. Quick shout out to our only paid subscriber actually is James King, the owner and main bartender of Black Horse London Pub here in San Francisco, located on Union and Van Ness. So if you're ever around town, hit me up. I'll meet you there. And thanks again, James King, for being our one paid subscriber. I also want to make sure that everyone who is subscribed, thank you for subscribing. It's actually growing a little bit now that we've been doing monologues. And I'm really happy to see that what we're producing is appreciated and people seem to want more.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get on over to some albums releases. Recently on Bandcamp, there's been the premiere release from Sarah Sommers in Germany. Sarah Sommers just put out her first album called Heartcore. She does all techno with customized pink synthesizers. Everything she owns, if it's Electron or a sequential circuits, she has customly gotten pink for everything. Everything is pink, including her outfits. Everything is absolutely pink. And wow, that is a lot to commit to. And I'm really happy that she did this. And I'm really happy to see finally an album from Sarah Sommers. I've been following her on Instagram for a little while now, and I reached out to her to let her know how much I enjoyed her album and that I was going to mention it here on Patch Dispatch.
Did you want to
congratulations.
play a preview?
Let's play the first track. So much deep bass on that first track. It's really fun. So if you like techno, this is a good one. Yeah. And now we've got a release also on Bandcamp from Code Elektro. And I believe he's in, I should know this. I should know the difference if he's in Netherlands or Denmark.
It says Denmark.
Denmark. All right. I should know that. I should have known that before that. So sorry about that. So Code Elektro in Denmark just released a new album called Metal Heart. And this is, I believe, his fourth album that he's released under the name of Code Elektro. And again, if you've listened to Code Elektro before from, say, when he did Wolf or the album after that one, this is a great continuation into that wonderful synthwave style that he does. You've got to experience it. It's got theatrics to it. It's cinematic. There's so much to it. And let's have a listen to one of the tracks. Track number 5, Space Drones.
Nice. Yeah, it definitely has that cyberpunk aesthetic.
Yeah. To me, Metal Heart has the dark wave and synth wave sound that I love and crave constantly, where you've got that great cinematic style to it, but it's dark. It's a little ambient, but it hits really well. He's got a great arrangement of panning back and forth between little percussions between the tracks. Oh my god, it's such a good album. I really like this one a lot. Yeah, and that's Code Elektro is Neil M. No, I just said that wrong. Martin M. Nielsen is Code Elektro, and phenomenal album. Check it out. Now, our third album we're going to mention tonight is from Minor Code Music, also on Bandcamp. This is called Erosion of Thought, and this is a cassette release of 2 long tracks, one artist per side of this cassette tape. This is a collaboration between Malarki and Alphastare. So each artist has one side of the cassette tape, and it's not labeled, so you get to just put it in and listen to whatever you're going to listen to. And I purchased this actually from Alphastare. We were at Mission Synths for a show, and he had a couple of pre-release cassette tapes for sale, so I purchased one and listened to it in the car.
He's like, here, buy this blank cassette.
yeah. You just open it up, and it's just
a black cassette.
It's a black cassette. It was awesome. Like I said, there's no labels. He's like, yeah. It was good. It was fun. So the descriptions, let's see here, of the tracks. Where did it go? Here we are. So Erosion of Thought between Malarki and Alphastare. Malarki's side is called Exogenetic, and then Alphastare's side is called I Only Believe in What I See, though sometimes I hallucinate. So if you know Malarki and Alphastare, what their sound is, it's 100% who they are represented on respectively on either side. So you've got more industrial sounds, hard-hitting percussions with Malarki, and then Alphastare is more ambient, but also has some darkness and some surprises in there.
Cool. Did you want to play a preview?
Let's have a little preview. Let's check out Malarki.
Okay.
Or do you want to do Alphastare?
No, that's fine. Yep. 1 sec.
love the way that Malarki uses spatial audio to surround you with the music. You really feel that you are absolutely surrounded by this atmosphere. When I purchased the cassette tape from Alphastare, I was commenting to him on how much I like the cover art. And he told me that it's actually that the cover art is actually a photograph of a book that was rotting. And I think he said there's actual maggots that are on the book.
What? Oh my God. Wait, on this cover here?
Yeah.
Hold on. I can't zoom in. Oh, okay. Okay, maybe I see something.
It was too good. Love it.
Yeah, I saw the promo video on Instagram. And he said there was a Cybertruck in it. I mean, it's really hard to tell, like, because it's very like grainy and stuff happening. But I think I saw it. I think I saw the Cybertruck. It's like a little Easter egg. A little.
Oh, it definitely is.
Little stainless steel refrigerator with wheels.
That's a great way to describe it. It's the Easter egg you didn't expect. Cool. Now let's move on to some gear. The first piece we're going to talk about today is called Bent Time Drive by Rucci Synthesizers. This one's available on Etsy under Michael Rucci. He's the inventor and seller. This is an interesting piece. I haven't seen him come out with a lot lately, but this one caught my attention. This is an interesting piece. Now, it's all in a big, nice purple container. It's got a 9-volt battery that you have to switch out to make sure that stays fresh on the inside, which everything that Rucci creates typically has a 9-volt battery on the inside. And the other lovely thing is when you open the back to change out the battery, he has lovely bold lettering actually on the PCB, Rucci. So he invented it, which I always like those little. To me, those are fun Easter eggs when you actually look at the back of the PCB of any synthesizer and the inventor has actually like written a note on it or something. Mm-hmm. Those are always fun. But I'm going to read the description just so that you guys can understand what bent time drive is. This combines delay, pitch shifting, and overdrive with circuit bending inspired techniques. While it has an audio input, there are several feedback loops that will get this going all on its own, similar to a no input mixing setup. You have controls for drive, feedback, and time. Each of these is essentially tweaked to push the limits of the hardware to completely destroy incoming audio if you choose. There are also 3 bend points that tap into feedback loops and glitches at different points in the circuit. Each of these has a momentary button as well as a toggle switch. These will respond differently depending on the other settings and work in combination with one another, although they do descend into chaos easily. In addition to that, there is a filter and volume control on the main output. Also, a bypass switch lets you toggle back to the unprocessed input. The input and output are 1/4-inch mono and ideal for amps, effects, or recording equipment. It is built into a rugged purple die-cast aluminum case. This was designed and hand-built in Oakland, California. So if you want to buy locally, get the Time Bent Drive. And I just recently on his Etsy page, this morning when I was looking at this, it said sold out, but right now it says that there's 2 left. So that means people are buying them, and I'm really happy to hear that.
Do you think this is the right pink for Sarah? Or is it more purple?
I think it's It's more purple.
Okay.
If Sarah Sommers purchased one, she'd probably get a custom hot pink case. One of the things I like about the time bend drive is not only is it able to interact as a through effects pedal for guitar or any synthesizer you want to send through it, it can feedback by itself. So you don't necessarily need to input anything to get sound out of it.
Mm.
That's a great. I like that idea that you can just, it can create its own sound.
Mm-hmm.
No, it looks like a fun one. So let's talk about our last topic for tonight, Tiptop Audio Art. Rich, can you explain this to me?
God. Okay. So the best way, I think, I found this post online by the user Pattern Music. He posted it pretty early after the releases. And I liked because he kind of broke it down to kind of basics, like what this is, what it's about, why it's important, like a summary. Here it is. So art. Let me kind of just summarize based on what he's putting here. It's basically a signal, a protocol, a digital signal that uses, the standard MIDI TRS connection. And basically kind of, you can imagine it like MIDI, but on top of that, it has information in it that lets you basically like tune oscillators. So, like on their website, what they mentioned in the title is polyphony and Eurorack, right? And I think that's been something that people have been wanting to do, but it's a little difficult to get all your oscillators talking together and in tune, right? Because that's kind of where you need to start. It's really easy to build like a giant, huge, expensive monosynth, but polyphony sounds good. So that's, I think, some people are doing, right? But I guess, keeping analog oscillators in tune, especially oscillators across different manufacturers, is kind of a chore. You might get it set up in your room, but they drift, or you take it out to a venue where the temperature is different and one is a little off and the other one is a little off, and now you're retuning every time, So from what I saw in their demo, there's two ways to tune these oscillators now. So any oscillator that communicates with art, you can press a button on their sort of main module, and it will send all your oscillators to auto-tune themselves automatically. There's like a deep auto-tune, which is like from scratch. And then there's sort of a tune-up, which is much faster, that you can run like if you're going to be at a show or something and you just need to sort of get everything real tight. That's kind of it. Like there's other stuff, I guess, right? But that's how it's described. I think what's interesting is that, it's using the same connection as basically what you would run CV through. So does MIDI. But I don't know. When we talked about this before, my question was like, is this something people want enough to let another digital signal into their system? That's not MIDI, it's not CV, it's like another protocol.
Have you seen any, besides the one article you read, have you seen any other reviews on art?
I mean, I don't think it's out in the wild, right? Like on their website, they show, I think they just sort of announced it like, hey, this is what we've made. Here are all the modules right now that are coming out that are going to support this new protocol. So they have their module, the main kind of brain module called the octopus, not the brain, but this is your, MIDI comes in, USB comes in, and then art signals come out module. So this is your interface to the world. So like to your computer or to another controller, right? This is translating that MIDI into now art protocol, which goes out over the connections. Which again, imagine it's sort of like a MIDI connection. So it has the note information, it has the gate information, it has all that stuff in it. On top of that, this sort of like auto-tune protocol for all the oscillators and stuff. There's other things they've done, like I was mentioning before, where between some of these modules, rather, if you're going to have a bunch of art cables running between, from one module to the other, some of these have like a bus cable, which is, it looks like USB-C, I guess. It might even be USB-C, but it's not USB-C, which is crazy also because I hate that USB-C is also it's supposed to be standard, but it's not really standardized. Like some cables have power, some don't. Some do communication, some don't, right? Some connectors run at this voltage, some run at another voltage. It's like, it's kind of a mess already. So now there's another thing here. But it sort of can take a bunch of art cables and, instead of having to run 5 cables, you can just run this USB kind of bus cable between the different modules.
It's definitely interesting to see this new format come out for modular synthesizers. It was unexpected. I had no idea that this was coming. And as you even asked, it's like, is this something that people want? Is this something that we asked for? How did this come about? I'm very curious to see the development on how Tiptop Audio came up with this new technology, or perhaps is it a new technology or is it a new format of communication between modular?
It's a new communication protocol between modules. But again, only modules, obviously, that support art. It's like only modules that support MIDI, you can run the MIDI cables between. You know what I mean? It's the same idea. Yeah. It's not MIDI, it's something else. I mean, again, like, so if you're going to buy into this, I want to do polyphony in Eurorack, this is probably a great solution, but you're starting from here. Everything else you have isn't going to work with it. They might, I think they have I think there's a module that's kind of art to CV or CV to art. So you could maybe interface that with some other, legacy oscillator that doesn't support art, but then you don't get any of the auto tuning capability, which is sort of seems like the whole point of this. At least a big benefit. It just feels like if you're into polyphony and you want to buy something, start over from scratch, just go buy a polysynth. Like, why? You know what I'm saying?
There's an interest. I'm curious to see how users and musicians are going to use this new tool. And sounds like, yeah, you could just buy a polyphonic synthesizer that with X amount of voices, and and typically when you tune one, you're tuning all of them all at once across the board of a standard synthesizer. This, however, gives the opportunity to tune all those oscillators of different modules in modular, but sounds like it has to be within that format.
No, yeah, because like you have to buy their oscillators right now. They only have a couple or one or two, I don't know, that support art. So what they're asking is buy all this new stuff. The other stuff doesn't work with it. So my thing is like, if you're just going to buy all new stuff, then why not just buy a polysynth then? Like what? So I'm not going to use any of my other modules anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're into Eurorack and you've got this collection and you've built this polysynth kind of system, it's a hard ask to be like, yeah, but so we fixed all that, but you just got to buy all our new stuff and your other stuff doesn't work with it. You know what I mean? Like it's weird. I don't know.
It is weird, and it's still new and fresh, and we haven't had a chance to really play with it yet. So I'm curious to know how is it going to develop, how's it going to play out, and if Tiptop Audio has reached out to other modular companies to talk about partnerships with creating art formatted modules.
From what I read, it's unconfirmed, but it would seem like that would be the smartest thing to do, like to license it to other modules. But like, again, like how many oscillators do you have that have MIDI? It's not all of them.
No.
So is everyone just going to start building in art connections? I don't know. It seems like a big ask for basically trying to solve, I guess, that whole tuning thing. But like, I don't know. Is this a solution looking for a problem that doesn't really exist? You know what I'm saying?
Continue. Oh yeah. Let's let it. I'm excited to see what happens next with this before we can really speculate on where it's going.
Yeah.
So interesting development from Tiptop Audio with art. We stay tuned. We'll find out. Let's hopefully next time we get to talk on Patch Dispatch, we'll have an update about what's going on with art. But until then, let's all keep curious and ask questions and look into this new protocol communication to see if it's something that is a useful tool within a modular system that might be accepted or might not be. We don't know yet. But very interesting stuff. I'm always interested to see what's going on in modular. There's always new developments. New companies have different ideas. A lot of most modular companies, as we know, are usually one to maybe a handful of people. And it's always these small companies have unique ideas coming from different people with different backgrounds and have wonderful things that come out of them that I'm always happy to see. So we'll see if it becomes something that we're going to be using in the future, or perhaps it was a fad. Mm-hmm. We shall see. Until then, Rich, always good to talk to you. Let's get back to creating some more monologues, and we'll talk to all of you very soon.
Cool. Talk to you soon.
All right. Stay home and stay safe. Good night.